but its utility is to guide us into crafting well-written research objectives. The reason why I believe the research objectives are the most important part of the research process is that everything that you will do after this for the entirety of the research itself hinges on a well-crafted set of research objectives. Nothing more, nothing less, nothing else. This includes who the study population is, what type of study design you will use, what specific variables you will need to measure, how the data collection will most likely proceed, what type of analysis you will do, and in which order, and even how you will write the discussion and conclusion in the final manuscript. When you're trying to defend your research proposal, your panel will go back to this. When you disseminate your research study, whether in a conference or in a podcast, you will find yourself going back to this. I cannot stress this enough. You need to be able to verbalize, and verbalize well, your research objectives. So let's get to how to do it. But first, what is a research objective? It is a concrete, declarative statement. It is direct to the point, clearly phrased using operational terms, and most importantly, it is written in a way that proposes how the study will try to answer the research question. Research objectives are often written using infinitive verbs or phrases, that is, often preceded by the word to, followed by an action verb. Some examples of the start of research objectives are enumerated on the right side of the screen. Research proposals usually have two types of objectives, the general objective and the specific objective. The general objective is a single, broad statement which states your proposal on how the study will answer the research question. As a pro tip, in most cases, the general objective is just the declarative form of the research question. So if our upgraded research question is, what is the relationship between TikTok usage and diagnosed mental health disease in the Philippines? Then our general objective could be to determine the relationship between TikTok usage and diagnosed mental health disease in the Philippines. Simple, right? Specific objectives, on the other hand, are multiple, focused, or narrow statements. They are written in a logical sequence, much like how a story would be framed, and the sequence should reflect how the methodology will actually push through. Eventually, once you go through all the results of your specific objectives, then you should be able to achieve your general objective. Using our general objective as a starting point, I made a few specific objectives which hopefully will merge into the general objective and will be able to answer the research question. So for our general objective, it will be to determine the relationship between TikTok usage and diagnosed mental health disease in the Philippines. As you can see, before we can determine the relationship of TikTok use and mental health disease, we needed to investigate our population first on who has mental health disease. That is specific objective number 1. Then we also need to estimate our population's TikTok usage under specific objective number 2. Then, knowing these two variables from 1 and 2, we can then determine the association between them as our specific objective number 3. A common mistake that people do in writing specific objectives is that they often cram multiple action verbs or they want to measure multiple variables in one specific objective. For example, take the specific objective to determine the prevalence of diagnosed mental health disease in the Philippines and TikTok usage in the Philippines. That is overly redundant and has a lot of multiple variables in one specific objective. As a pro tip, each specific objective should only try to answer one sub-question in the study. If you find yourself seeing the word "and" in any of your specific objectives, you need to break that objective into multiple specific objectives. It will make your objectives clearer and you will make your research life easier. But what makes a good research objective? Well, we can discuss the answer to this question similar to how we discussed the finer criteria for the research problem. Research objectives are ideally SMART: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. Again, research questions are finer, research objectives are smart. The first criteria of a research objective is its specificity. Specific about what? Exactly. And not just with what, but also who, where, and how of the research study. While each objective, particularly each specific objective, doesn't need to contain all four of the details mentioned here, when you take all the objectives as a collective, they should give a reasonable chance for a reader to imply the answers to these questions. Let's look at some examples, or counterexamples for this case. I'll give you a few seconds to think about what's wrong with them, or probably just pause the video here. Example A is not specific since the word affect is very ambiguous. It can mean reduction of symptoms or increase in side effects, which are two very different things. Example B seems very complete, but it doesn't contain the who and where of the research study if taken in isolation. However, if examples A and B are part of the same study, then you can argue that you've already stated your who and where in example A. If we take a look at our case's specific objectives, what we want to determine is the relationship between TikTok usage and mental health disease. Who and where we want to do the study is in the Philippines. In most cases, you can be more specific here. Say, your study is taking place in just one hospital, or you just want to study children aged 13 to 17 years old. These specifics should be put in the objectives. How we are going to answer the what is by first measuring the mental health disease, then TikTok usage of our population. Our third objective also states that we want to determine the association, which implies that we are doing an analysis on relationship, which, when you get into your lecture on data analysis, will probably involve bivariate or multivariate analysis. The second quality of a good research objective is it being measurable. Or, simply put, can you quantify all the information that you want to collect? Now, the term quantifiable does not mean that you can assign numbers to it, but rather, can the information be summarized, stored, and analyzed in a standard numerical way? A measurable research objective enables your readers to imply the data collection tools and the data analysis strategy that you will be doing under your research methodology. It also enumerates and limits the specific variables or the only information that you should obtain from your research. Looking at our examples on screen, example A wants to know which drug is the best treatment. Using the term best is not quantifiable. It is only answerable with subjective information. In fairness, opinion surveys can be valid researchers, but given the context of the study of investigating the efficacy of drugs, then opinions are not the best way to measure them. Example B, on the other hand, want to investigate why a drug produces more side effects. Why statements in research objectives is probably generally not a good idea, even in qualitative studies. Why questions imply causality and involves tremendous amounts of information and analysis, which cannot be measured in a single study. Even the most rigorous randomized control trials or meta-analysis will have a hard time answering why questions, so I would recommend to avoid this as research objectives. Let's investigate the specific objectives for our case. From the specific objectives, we can enumerate the variables that will be obtained: the prevalence of mental health disease and the daily TikTok usage. Nothing more. From there, we can also assume that getting the prevalence of a mental health disease might involve doing a population survey or a review of medical charts, while a survey may be the best way to determine daily TikTok use. How to determine the prevalence of anything or the daily usage of anything, and even how to determine association in statistics are all reasonably defined in literature, which makes our objectives measurable. The A criteria stands for attainable or achievable. This criteria is very much tied down to the reality of the known universe as well as the working realities of the research team themselves. Take counterexample A, for instance. The goal there is to list down all the possible side effects of a particular drug, which is an impossible task, no matter how many samples or how many trials you conduct. Example B is a bit tricky. At first glance, you may say that there is nothing wrong with it in terms of feasibility. You can go to space and conduct a proper interview and gather their thoughts on religion and religiosity, and definitely you will be correct. But if the data collectors who are conducting this study do not have the funds, the connections, and even the physiology to go to space to properly conduct the study, then the attainability of their objective within the context of their own limitations would really take a hit. Adapting these concepts into our own case objectives, all the objectives listed seem doable. But of course, assuming the context that we will have operational funds for research expenses, access to the charts, or that we can actually do a survey of the population. Remember, during the COVID pandemic, a lot of research objectives that involve face-to-face surveys became unattainable just because of the lockdowns and the fear of disease transmission. A good research question should also be relevant. Relevant to what? Relevant to the needs of the world, similar to the R in our finer criteria for the research question. But more importantly, the relevant criteria for research objectives reflect the relationship of each specific objective with each other with the overall goal of answering the research question. Let's review a counter scenario with the general objective from earlier, which is to describe the subjective religious experiences of astronauts while in space. The first specific objective seems relevant to the research question in that answering it contributes to answering the general objective. However, the second specific objective doesn't seem to be connected to the first one, as well as to the overall objective of the study. I know this example is an extreme case, but you'd be surprised how often I see researchers inserting specific objectives that are not relevant to their overall goal. This commonly take the form of providing quote unquote additional services such as to provide the government with relevant strategies for disease X. But when you look into their general objectives, they only wanted to determine the prevalence of disease X, and that their study does not have any reason to provide the government with strategies. Now, doing our traditional review of our own case, we have already established that we need the first specific objective as part of our third objective. We also need the second one, again, as part of our third objective. And once we are able to complete the third objective with the help of the first two objectives, then we will have attained our general objective. So all objectives are relevant to answering the general objective. Again, nothing more, nothing less, nothing else. The last criteria, time bound, to be honest, seems placed there just to complete the SMART acronym, but let's just discuss it anyway. It describes how a study should be bound in a finite time frame, not really on how long the study is expected to run, but more precisely, what is the time frame that is involved in terms of the data to be collected. Example A gives us an objective which is not bounded in time. It seems reasonable to review records and determine average global temperatures as well as atmospheric carbon dioxide levels at any point in time. However, if you take two different times in history, say the Industrial Revolution versus the Ice Age, there will be distinctly huge differences in the association of global temperature and carbon dioxide levels. Our second example also seems reasonable. It even contained the study timeframe to focus only within the pandemic. But if we do not set clearer bounds here, there may be confounders polluting our potential results. Remember, COVID vaccinations only happened about a year into the pandemic, so there were no available COVID vaccines in 2020. Additionally, the administration rates vary across different months and even different population groups or areas. So maybe we need to be more specific on which time frame we would like to measure here. Of course, when you are legally bound by say, the terms of a grant, of a research grant, to complete the specific objective by a deadline, then you should also include these deadlines in your objectives. Our case study contains elements of being time-bound. The term prevalence, as defined in literature, is a statistic that is recorded at a particular point in time. If we wanted to talk about incidences, by textbook definition of the term, we should define the exact time frame for incidence studies. TikTok usage is also defined in our objectives as average daily usage, which puts a clear limit on how we will collect and record this information. Now, reviewing all the things that we've talked about regarding this criteria, I'm beginning to think our specific objectives may not be time-bound enough, since TikTok usage as a variable would also be dependent on which year we are measuring. So to improve on our specific objectives, I will add a more definite time frame for our hypothetical study and just focus on the pandemic years. And there you go, our improved and well-assessed general and specific objectives. As a bonus pro tip, try to review your specific objectives. If by reading the specific objectives, you can infer how the entire research methodology will look like, including the time frame, study settings, the data collection tool that will be used, the data collection methodology, and even the data analysis, then you are golden. You have made good research objectives. And as a final pro tip, when you are writing your final manuscript for presentation or publication, you should present your results and the accompanying discussions and even the conclusions in the context of how you wrote your specific objectives. A simplified example conclusion for our hypothetical study would be as follows. 10% of Filipinos have a diagnosed mental health illness. And the average daily TikTok usage of Filipinos is about 25 hours a day. Using logistic regression, we found that every 1 hour of daily TikTok use is associated with a 5 times risk of being diagnosed with mental health illness. Now, in conclusion, we've discussed how to identify a possible research topic, how to write a good research question, and how to write good research objectives. We've also discussed the acronyms FINER and SMART as they apply to writing research questions and research objectives, respectively. Thank you for listening and go start your research.